When I was 43 years old, my two girls were very young at the time. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and as it turned out, I tested positive for the BRCA gene mutation. I remember the bathroom just spinning around me, and my world was crashing in on me.
When I was about 18 years old, my parents sat me down and told me and my sister that my mom carried the BRCA mutation and that there was a 50-50 chance that we carried it as well. I got tested right after Daniel and I got engaged, and it came out that I actually tested positive for a BRCA mutation.
With knowledge comes power, but with that positive gene mutation came a whole lot of guilt that I unknowingly passed it on to her.
I always knew about Sharsheret from my mom's involvement, and it was after I tested positive that I really learned about all the resources and offerings that Sharsheret had and how I could potentially utilize that for my path down the road. During the pandemic, my doctor postponed my annual visit, and not having that set time to see my doctor scared me. I wanted to take matters into my own hands and move forward with the prophylactic mastectomy.
Lana and I were really proud of the kids after a little bit more than 1 year of marriage that they made this monumental decision. They did it with a lot of research and courage, and they handled it with such grace.
I knew my first call had to be Sharsheret. I was put in touch with a social worker, and she then put me in touch with other women across the US and Israel who had my doctor so I could talk to them about their experience.
Sharsheret was so helpful to me as a caregiver to be a sounding board, to be a source of support, and to be able to advise on best practices. More than anything though, there are people who can relate to the experience you're going through both as patient and as caregiver. Sydney and I had already known about IVF, but through reading Sharsheret materials, we learned about PGT-M, which gave us the possibility of eliminating the BRCA mutation from our bloodline.
IVF with PGT-M is a combination of two wonderful technologies that we've been blessed with in our generation. We take in vitro fertilization and we compound it with testing the embryo. It affords us the ability to differentiate between embryos that might be affected with a genetic disease and those embryos that are normal or unaffected.
It was needles and doctor's appointments every morning and follow-ups and expensive medication. It wasn't an easy process on my body at all. And on top of that, I decided to undergo this in between my prophylactic mastectomy and my reconstructive surgery. So we were very fortunate. And out of the 8 viable embryos that were sent off to testing, 4 of them were negative. After healing from my reconstructive surgery, we decided to transfer an embryo, and unfortunately, it did not result in a positive pregnancy.
Sydney and Daniel never gave up. They never quit believing. Despite everything surrounding them and all the other procedures that they had to do, they persevered, and then at their second transfer, they were blessed with success. A BRCA negative, healthy embryo and child.
Knowing when I look at her that she doesn't have the BRCA mutation, it lights up my world. My heart is living outside of my body at this point. I can't put it into words, the joy that I feel when I look at her.
It happens to be exactly almost to the day my 20th year of being diagnosed and being cancer-free. How lucky am I? But most importantly, Sharsheret gave me, my granddaughter Maya, the opportunity to be born without the BRCA gene mutation. And that is such a gift and a true blessing.
As we embarked on our journey for both Sydney's surgeries as well as IVF and PGT, we decided to really deepen our involvement in Sharsheret. The value that Sharsheret brings and the importance that Sharsheret has within our community is absolutely impossible to overstate. I decided to get more and more involved and ultimately join the board of Sharsheret to contribute in any small way that I can to this incredible mission. Looking back at this process, the feeling I could say I feel more than anything else is blessed. Blessed we live at a time in the world where modern medicine has made both the surgeries as well as IVF and PGT possible. Blessed that we have an unbelievable support system in our families and friends. Blessed that we have each other, and blessed that Sharsheret has been there with us every step of the journey.